What is going on, beautiful people? I'm currently in a process of starting a new tank. I'm just clearing out the old one. Some of you who know the channel will know that this is the sparkling gourami tank, but where's the fish gone? Over here in the Cory only tank, which is no longer Cory only. Got a little bit of Fred algae going on. I've just sort of left it for the minute because something's happening soon. Something I want to do with the Corys. Yeah, more on that to come, but there we go. Look, there's the enders that were in there. And there's also the sparkling gouramis have just gone and hidden. They're quite shy, sparkling gouramis, especially when you put them in a new setup. But yeah, I'm just taking out all of the substrate system, going to get the tank cleaned up. We're using a new light for this one as well. I've got here, and I've already dropped it and chipped it all, but it doesn't matter. This is the Twin Star B. It's like their much more affordable range. Light colouring. It's a little bit on the sort of purpley side. I think that's going to really help with the colours of the plants potentially. It's a little bit more expensive than the usual cheap LED ones I use here. Only a little bit more though. Actually, it's probably double. It's double, but it's still affordable. Good news is though, it's got red, blue and green and white LEDs. So it's not a huge amount of light, but I think it's the right amount. And you know, time will tell because we'll see if the plants grow or not. First thing I need to do though is get all that substrate out and get the tank cleaned up. I'm going to reuse the substrate. I mean, that system I had before worked really, really well. More on that later. Right, we're all clean, ready to go. So the first thing I want to do is put in a little border of rocks. I'm going to be doing a bit more of a traditional style aquascape with this one. I haven't done one like that for a while and I really fancy it. So yeah, just going to grab some cereal stone probably and just do kind of like a concave sort of look. So we've got a bit of a openy foreground, but not a huge one. There we go, just a line of rocks, but to be honest, it's more than what it seems because this one is the high point, so this is like the main focal rock. And even when I add in some stuff in the background in a minute, I might better raise it up a little bit more. And then, you know, maybe raise this one up a little bit, you know what I mean? Just, you don't want it all being completely flat. And at the moment, it is a little bit, but I can see once I lift that, it's just gonna change everything. So down the back then now, we've got completely clear space, haven't we? And that's where I can put all of the media that I took out before. You know, by media, I mean just rocks and sand and some aqua soil. You know, this is like driveway gravel mixed with sand and aqua soil, so it's got nutrients in it and it's also going to just fill it all out. And it's a great place as well for beneficial bacteria, and it's also coarse enough that water can still flow through it, which is really good for filtration. Right, looking good. So that's all our nutrients taken care of. There was already still probably some root tabs that I recently put into that base system. Some API root tabs that were in there. So that's all mixed amongst it. Plus we've got the aqua soil as well. There's absolutely plenty. We've got a decent layer there as well. Look at that. Next up, I want to cap over the top of it. I just like doing this, and also it gives a better sort of, I don't know, consistency to plant into. So I've got more of a sand to go over the top. All right, looking good, looking good. Then I actually want to go for this stuff in the foreground. I usually go for like a light sand because that's like the sort of the way it's done, if you like. But let's switch it up a bit. I'm going to go for this sort of rivery mix. Should look pretty good. What are we thinking? Any good? Should I have gone for a lighter sand? You know what? The beauty of this stuff is I can just suck it out and just put in some lighter sand if that's what I want to do. But for now, quite like it, a little bit different. I think I need another rock in the foreground as well, just some smaller ones as well, just to sort of bring it out a bit. Looking good, looking good. See, I feel like that's just, it's probably slightly too central. If I just can keep it at the same sort of angle, but go back towards that corner a little. It's only a subtle change, but yeah, I think that's a bit more realistic. Because it's not central. So when stuff's so central and parallel, our eyes look at it and go, well, that doesn't happen. So like now, yeah, better. But next up, we need the wood. Got this big piece here, but it's a bit samey. Like, I don't think that'll work. Let me try it. It's quite cool, but it's not the look I'm going for in this one. I think if I was going to use that in this size tank, I'd have to put it in first and go around it and make the tank and scape fit that wood. not placing it in now. Whoa, yes, I feel like that works really well. Boom, it's like a concave composition, I think that's what it's called. Convex is outwards, concave is in, actually, who knows, it's just everything. It's just some exploding wood in the tank. Love it. Next up, I want to prepare mosses that are going to go in the aquarium, and for that I'm going to need some cotton thread. I put it down dramatically then and then picked it up anyway. It's like cotton thread. I don't know, is it yarn in America or is it still thread? I don't even know, but like, it's thin stuff. Anyway, I can use that and wrap it with moss, which I've got here. Got loads of the stuff. Look at this. Really nice as well. This is the weeping moss. It's got that weird first bit, Viscularia weeping. Anyway, yeah, so I've got 4 pots of that. I've got some Christmas moss down here as well. Again, it's that weird one, but this is the Christmas variety. There's not a huge amount of difference. I mean, the Christmas stays kind of flatter, I guess, and who cares? It's just moss. Moss looks great. So yeah, behind here, I've also got, oh, not many left, but I've got some little pebbles in there, for instance. And you just want to take a pebble, and then we can lay the moss on top of it, and then wrap. Either wrap or you can glue, but in this instance I'm going to do a lot of wrapping. Wrap the cotton around the top of it, and then it just, oh, just drop that, never mind. Yeah, then it stays nice and compact, and you can just trim it really regularly and it looks so good. I'm going to do loads of them everywhere. There we go, got quite a few there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pieces. I might do more. I might not need that many, to be honest, but I'm just going to place them in, and that'll tell me where I need to go next. Awesome, I think that's looking great already. Like, as soon as you add some green, you just start looking brilliant, don't you, straight away. Next up, I want to add the main focal piece of plant, which could be some bulbitis in the middle, maybe some Java ferns as well, I'm not sure yet. Nice big piece of bulbitis though around there. So what's great about this wood here is that I'm not having to glue the bulbitis, because there's so many sort of areas, look, I can just lock it into. That's not going anywhere. I'm trying to keep it down a little bit lower than having it up high, because I want to put more mosses now around the top pieces of wood. Quick tip as well, spray the wood and get it a bit wet, and the moss sticks easier for when you wrap it with the cotton thread. Right then, you may have noticed that the colour's different and it's a lot brighter. So I've switched back to the light I originally had on here, which is half the price from All Pond Solutions, but does such a great job. Look at the colouring. Look, it's how it should be, pure white. I'll obviously leave a link for this for anyone interested. I want to make sure you guys get value for money, so you continue in this hobby and have a go yourself as well. I think it's only available in the UK, or you could order it from the UK if you're in the US. It just takes longer to arrive. But I'll put up an alternative from the US that I know is pretty decent as well. And remember guys, we mustn't forget to mist down. Keep everything moist. Also, if you spray your sand or gravel, it tends to mean when you fill it up, there's less rubbish floating around as well. It sort of keeps it locked down. Right, next up, we can get some planting going. I'm going to put some crypts in these bottom areas. As you can see, it's been quite shaded by all the stuff above it. So crypts in the side, because they don't require highlighting. And the background, I've got some taller plants that I'm going to put in as well. So I've prepared a good mixture of crypts here. We've got the Wenty, we've got Walisi, or the other way round, I always forget. We've got Patchy. Again, that might not be. Normally the Patchy has this sort of darker bit on it. But anyway, these all have been grown out of water. This is one that's been grown in water, you see. It stays smaller with more sort of triangular, petite leaves. Anyway, they're all going to go in. They're all from Tropica, by the way. That's how they arrived. I mean, this one I've had for a while, so it's grown like doubly as big. But I'm going to split them all up because we don't need to put them in that big of a chunk. We can split that into about 4, same with the rest, and just dot them about. There we go, a lot of different plants there going on at the sides. Got all those crypts and everything. Let's fill it up with water now so I can get some stuff in the background. Just little hints of shoots coming out. I think it'll look so good. Oh yes, now that is a pretty darn good initial fill up, isn't it? Crystal clear. Now, you can't even tell there's water in there, can you? First thing I want to do though now is add in the filter, and that'll give us some water flow, and then it means I can put in the taller plants. I'm going to see how they're sort of flowing, if it's too much or whatever. Now, I was clever enough, because I've done this many times now and made the mistake before, of leaving a gaplet in that back corner for us to be able to put the filter in. I like an internal filter. Many people use canisters with the little lily pipes. I just like an internal filter. It's my personal preference. So it's now the next day. I'm liking the majority of what I'm seeing. I do want to change a few things though. I want to bring all the crypts in closer together, and I also want to clear out some of this foreground area and put a little bit of a finer sand just as it comes close to the front. So sort of like a mix of the two. There we go, look at that. That looks way better, doesn't it? Having the mix of the two, it's like it's come into a shoreline or something? I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I've brought in the crypts a bit more just so I can put something extra in those corners to taper down. It's looking a bit sort of scraggly. I've added a second light. I mean, it's probably too bright, but I just found this one laying around. It's just a cheap one, and I put it right at the back just so we get that sort of, well, you're not seeing it at the moment because everything's quite misted up since moving everything around, but the background is sort of glowing a little bit better. It's not really adding anything to the plants at all. That's not what I've put it there. So yeah, it should get that illuminated back effect. There you go, if I hold it there. Should look good once it's all clear as well. Right, next up, I've got some Anubias to lay in. That's one of the reasons I created these gaps at the side here, because I think they'll just be a great border between the foreground and the background. A couple on the side, a couple in some gaps, you know, just lodging it in little areas where I know it will stay. And then I'm going to get onto the background plants. Oh yeah, it's really starting to look sweet now. Now for just some little background plants. I've got some Cryptocoryne Balansai, just a few little bits going across just to add some of that detail in that background area, and then we'll clear this mistiness. It'll look great, and we can put our fish. Well, we can go and get our fish anyway. Actually, before we move on, there's something else I've done. I've gone around the studio and all the tanks and just plucked out some of the stems that are looking great, but there's too many in certain tanks. So down here, look, lovely little collection, completely mixed stems here. Loads of different types. We've got rotundifolia, hatra, we've got some pearlweed, we've got limnophila, we've got hydrocotyle Japan. There's just a complete mix, and I've just pushed them all together like that. And just going to plant them randomly in the background section. They'll all merge together and just give a really nice sort of look to the whole tank, I think. I'll keep them nice and short though and compact, and it will look really good. It's also going to help massively with the starting phases as well, because these plants suck in nutrients from the water column and everywhere else, to be honest, as well. So yeah, really good start this will give us. Oh, that is looking so good. Now, by the time we come back from getting the fish, it's going to be completely clear and it should look even better. We've still got some sort of dullness to the background where the colourful plants and that are, but that'll start popping very shortly. The wild fish keepers. Caught you. Anything interesting? Just examining nets?
Yeah, just nets.
I didn't know a net worked here.
Way.
Right, Matthew, I'm a day late, a day and a bit late, because we did plan to do this yesterday, but I've been running so behind on all my videos because me and you decided to go for lunch last week that turned into dinner as well, and then my wife picking us up late at night.
It was a bit long, wasn't it? It did get stretched out.
But we had fun, didn't we?
It was great.
And we're actually discussing there as well what we're going to be getting for this tank. Now, Matt sent me some photos. We've got some really cool options here. I was talking to you about getting one of them. Is it possible to get all of them in a smaller groups?
Yeah, you could do little groups of each one, especially with the Lampeyes, because they're very similar species.
Shh, we haven't told them what we're having yet.
Sorry.
Okay, right. Lampeyes first.
They're here. I was looking at them. They were in
sweet.
Next tank.
Oh, next tank.
There's more of them in there.
I need to turn it down.
They're really hard to get, because there's a couple of males in here.
Okay, so obviously the Lampeyes are the ones that have got eyes that look like lamps.
Yes.
Yeah, they look really cool. So you said to me they're similar species to rice fish, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, so it's...
Hey, be careful, because the comment section's going to go nuts with people telling you you're wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking of my words carefully. It depends how far you go up the tree, I suppose you would say. You know, they
can't climb trees, Matt.
Yeah, they are. They're very similar, very closely related. So, yeah, killiefishes and then Lampeyes, it all starts to get a little bit mingled. So they're all very closely related. A bit like tetras, you know, there's loads of different tetras, and you get some that are darter sharikins that are sort of related to a tetra but aren't a tetra. Yeah, they're all closely related. And like I say, it depends on how far you look up the family tree. But yeah, Lampeyes and ricefish are very close in what they are. So yeah, you've got the Shields Lampeyes that you just looked at.
Yeah.
Then we've got the variable Lampeyes in here, which do look a lot more like a rice fish. You can see that sort of rice fish shape to them.
Yeah, I thought they were Daisy's rice fish.
Yeah, so that shape sort of, does hint to that. But they're really cool. They get like a blue sheen to them, yellow fins to them. They're really cool.
I like them.
Really nice.
And then there was one more, wasn't there?
There was the little Barbs,
Yeah, it was the Barbs, yeah.
They're over here.
Sweet.
So...
that little turnaround you just did was brilliant.
Yes. Little dwarf barbs.
They are
shoaling
tiny,
really well.
mate. How big do they get?
Like 3 centimetres. Like I've seen them a little bit bigger, but not a great deal.
Oh, so, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're a quality little group.
Yeah, definitely want to. Okay, can we do a few more of those? No. I think if we stick to... What's a good number of those, do you reckon?
Anything above sort of 5s and 6s are a nice little shoal. You can see how tightly packed they are.
Yeah.
You can see how they move.
Okay, I'll have all of it. No. Yeah, they do move really well together, don't they?
They're a really cool little shoaling fish.
They're literally moving as one unit.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. We'll decide off camera and then I can surprise in the video. But I definitely want all 3 of them, so you know the drill. Let's bag them up. So we just got back from the shop. I've got the fish, also got some shrimp as well, but more on that in a minute. Now I've just nipped into the other room to have a look at the tank, and it is so clear, it looks absolutely brilliant. That is what I'm talking about. Look at that, nicely lit at the back. Look, it's just, it's one of the best sort of, I don't know, nature style ones I think I've done. And remember, all those background plants will just keep growing up, and as they grow, I'll just trim, replant, and trim and replant, because I want to keep that shape, but like more dense plants. Because there's not that many there at the moment, but they're such fast growing plants, they're going to be massive in no time. Right, let's get our first fish in. Well, actually no, first shrimp in. Right, first things first, we have got approximately 10 red cherry shrimp. Now they're the same temperature as this room already, so everything's temperature acclimated. I heat the room, remember, and they've been sat for about 20 minutes or so now, so we're all good. Look, straight away, look at that. We've got them exploring this little open substrate area in the top here, in the front, sorry, and we've got some there. They only got about 10 there. They will breed, cherry shrimp breed quite fast, to be honest, with the right conditions. And we've only got little fish in with them as well, so the babies should survive. Plus, there's so many places for babies to hide. Some will get picked off, obviously, but You know, I can also put other ones in here that have been breeding in all the other tanks around me. So there's so many babies in this one that I might soon start sort of transferring over. We've got a complete mix as well. We've got yellow bananas, apparently that's what they're called. We've got the sun-kissed orange. And there's also some really shrimp in here as well, so they'll all be moving across. Look at that, they've all come straight to the front. Must be sort of attracted to this sort of bright beach area, which is cool. Right, next fish. Okay, next up, we have got the variable Lampeye. Now, I only got about 5 or 6 of those, just because they're a little bit bigger than the rest, and I just didn't want them to take away from them. Oh, they're looking good already. Yeah, so not massively coloured up yet, but they've got a nice sort of yellow finnage and some blue sort of tinges to them. They're quite settled there, looking good. Let's give them some buddies. Let's keep this moving, keep the momentum going. Next fish will be the Lampeye, the Shields Lampeye, so the proper bright eyes on them. These have got like more of a sort of a gold bright eye. Can you see that? The next one's more of a blue. I think they will anyway with this tank. I've got blue LEDs in the light, so it should shine up quite well. So yeah, next up is the Shields Lampeye. Now, not only have they got these amazing eyes on them, they've got some great colours too. There we go, that one there is already showing it. Look at the colours on the side. They've got that awesome sort of neonness to them, but look at the eyes as well. So none of these are really coloured up yet, and they're still looking fantastic. Oh, look at that. Awesome. Everyone seems to love this little beach area at the front, don't they? I can't wait till they're all settled and fully coloured up. Next up though, the Piece of Resistance. That's a Lego movie joke. But next up is the main feature of the tank. It is the Dwarf Golden Barbs. Let's go for it. Here we go, the Dwarf Golden Barbs released. Awesome. Oh, and some sand as well. Oh, they are even smaller than I thought. They're sort of a bit more shy than the other fish. Look, they're going around the back there. Oh, look, there's one on his own. Okay, buddy? Oh, look, we've got some Lampeyes and a cherry shrimp for company as well. Awesome. I mean, this right here, guys, is basically why I absolutely love nano fish. This is probably the most affordable way of doing all of this, you know, other than a proper tiny little nano tank. But this is the sort of thing you can set up in your living space, and it's about the cheapest you can do it with like the nice, you know, Opti-White glass. You know, we've got cheap lighting. This is like £30 or $50. I've got 2, I didn't need 2. I just wanted that back area just lit up. And we've got a really cheap internal filter, so equipment-wise, that's it. The most expensive thing in here is going to be the plants, of course, but when you start out, you don't need this many. I've just got the ability to go, you know, sort of final look results straight away. You guys might want a few less of all of these and just let them grow in, which won't take a huge amount of time, you know, a couple of months, it's going to look fantastic. But look how much action, we've just got stuff going on everywhere, like, you know, just a little cherry shrimp chilling out right there. We've got fish in the back. And we've got these Dwarf Golden Barbs, seem to love this area for some reason. And then all in the foreground as well, look, we've got the Lampeye. So there's lots going on all over the tank. And we could do that because we've got so many nanos. We could even get some pygmy cories. That would look great, wouldn't it? About 20 of them all sort of swarming over the end here. I should have done that, so should have done that. But no, that's enough fish to get us going. Remember, we've got a filter in here which is already cycled. That's why I can add the fish and we're all good straight away. Now, heating wise, remember I said I heat the room, so this is already the right temperature for all these fish and shrimp. So yeah, that's my thing, nano fish. Absolutely love them. it.